That's a wrap. Oosh, oosh.
It's the co-meet event and two absolute meat slammers in this one for this slobber knocker. We got Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast, 26-8, coming in against Tai Tuivasa, aka Tai Tuivasa, who is 13-3, coming off four straight beautiful wins, all by finish. And I've touched on this on earlier Tuivasa videos, but Tuivasa was a guy on a three-fight skid, sort of had his back up against the wall and they allowed him to fight Stefan Struve. And ever since he got that knockout finish over the skyscraper, it's just been a new, revitalized Tai Tuivasa, and he's seemingly getting better and better, right? After that Stefan Struve fight, he made light work of Harry Hunsucker, took out Greg Hardy immediately after that one, and then most recently got an impressive finish over Augusto Sakai. That one came in the second round, and that fight wasn't close at all. So he's looking quite nice, but you could say the same thing for Derrick Lewis, right? This is a guy who's won 5 of 6. Most recently, he got that beautiful finish on that final card of 2021 with an early first round KO over the cop Chris Dawkins. And I don't know, we haven't really seen too much adversity thrown Derrick Lewis's way in the last couple of years beyond that Cyril Gane contest. So what are your thoughts on this matchup? Do you think someone's going to sleep? And if so, who is it?
Yeah, no, someone is for sure going to sleep. I just don't see this one um going the distance. If it's going the distance, it might be lamer than Francis versus Derek. But I gotta go with Bam Bam in this one.
Wow.
I like that he's the underdog. I feel like this is a terrible choice, but I think him and Dana White and the Nelk boys are pushing this guy to a whole another level. And with all this fame and fortune coming his way, and all this notoriety, this hype, his momentum, it almost feels unstoppable lately. And Derek, he's been just destroying everyone but the champion, right? But I think this is going to be the one. Bam Bam is coming in with the shoey, and he's going to get it done with the big upset. I don't think Derek is. I don't think Derek's ever gone for someone who's basically the same as him. Not that skillful, but kind of really skillful, like low key, but really powerful. And when those two collide with the crazy bombs that they're going to be throwing, it might as well be a double knockout, honestly. It would not surprise me if that happens. It'll be very interesting to see uh, how this plays out. I have a hunch, though, if Derek comes to trouble, I think Derek is going to use that amazing blue belt grappling that he has, and I could totally see him ground and pounding Tai Tuivasa with a takedown and maybe even get his first submission because we don't know what Tai Tuivasa's ground game is, and that's the only way I'm worried. If it stays standing, I think Tai Tuivasa wins.
Yeah, I kind of hope this one hits the mat because we're obviously expecting a slobber knocker, drag him out on the feet type of affair, and I'd love to see that as well. But it would be interesting to see what this fight looks like if it did hit the mat. And you made a lot of great points, and something that stuck with me as you were going off was you touched on Derek Lewis doesn't fight a lot of guys who have a similar style as him. If you really look at the 35-ish pro fights that Derek Lewis has, the only like comparable fights like where it's a circumstance like that was when he won a split decision over Roy Nelson way back in 2016, and then when he got finished by a fellow down under fighter, Mark Hunt, right? So in those fights where he goes against guys who stylistically are very similar, right? Not the most skilled, you know what they're trying to do, just throwing heavy meat bombs. It's been a split decision and a loss for Derek Lewis. So you wonder what this will look like against Shui Vasa. And you mentioned that you like the underdog value. He's a plus 155 dog in this one. Derek Lewis is minus 180. And if we look over at Tapology, it's a lot of brown, right? To be expected. 74%, however, is rolling with the Black Beast. Out 71% of it brown for that KO, and 26% rolling with Shui Vasa. About 23% is rolling with the KO for him. So you're bullish on that Shui Vasa win. Do you think he's going to get a finish? And if so, there's some rumblings going around that he's going to do not, I guess, a Shui, but a cuppy with a cup. I don't know if that's something I'm into, but do you think we're going to see it?
If it's a cup, I hope not. I'm honestly not really a big fan of the shoey thing either. It's kind of gross and a little weird and probably not sanitary for the other fighters when they get on the mat. You know, a little booze and spit and shoe juice all over the canvas. Imagine you getting taken down and having your face rubbed into that. But nonetheless, it's still funny. A lot of people like it, so you know, I don't care if he keeps doing that. But a cuppy, that might be drawing the line and pushing the boundary. That's just a little too much in my opinion. But hey, if the fans like it, I'm all for the sport growing, so I don't care as long as the sport keeps the hype and the fun. But that's gross. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this goes. I feel like there's no way that a finish doesn't happen. Like, obviously, the easiest prediction to say is, oh, Derrick Lewis can knock Tai Tuivasa out. Tai Tuivasa knocking out Derrick Lewis. I think none of that's going to happen to where either Tai Tuivasa maybe gets the upset KO or he gets taken down and absolutely mauled by the biggest man he's ever had on top of him. And so that's why I kind of see Derrick having the upper edge on the ground game. I just don't think Tuivasa has a ground game. Derrick's like he said, the best blue belt in the world, which I actually believed. The fact that he didn't get choked up by Anaconda, impressive nonetheless. So this will be a very interesting fight. I'm torn on it, but I'm gonna just go with Tai Tuivasa. The momentum, Dana White and the Nelk boys just pushing this guy. I feel like it's crazy to see. So they see something I kind of don't, and every time I bet against Tuivasa, I lose. So I'm riding Tuivasa till he loses. Then I can switch back to not betting against him.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I guess one other thing that I have been wondering is, the last time we saw Derek Lewis lose, it was in Houston. It was a main event. There was a belt on the line, and he said that, it was just a little bit too much pressure having to deal with that in front of his hometown crowd in Houston, Texas. This fight this weekend is in Houston, Texas. Are you at all, worried for Derek Lewis, and is that going to impact the psychology at all, or was it more so the fact that that was a 5-round title fight that really sort of amplified the nerves of Derek Lewis? Any concern in this 3-round contest, but still in Houston?
See, and that's a great point. It's a very, very good point because every time Derek goes to Houston, he loses, and the pressure of being the hometown, maybe he's off, maybe he's just not feeling it, or he's just like too many friends and family are there, the nerves get to him. I don't know, but like I said, the Nelk boys and Dana White are pumping this guy. There's a reason why they go Tuivasa, ready for level up, Houston, Derek Lewis' kryptonite slash curse. They are trying to get him this win the most they can get him, and they are hammering the odds for those reasons. That's what I truly believe. I really think Dana White wants Lewis to lose in this one, and that's why they made it there. Because why else would he take it back to Houston when he loses every time there? So that's why I'm saying the odds, the manipulation, and the bizarreness. I gotta go Tuivasa just because my gut's saying something weird, and yeah.
No, they're great points, and you definitely might be all over the psyche behind the matchmaking in this one because there is a definite push behind Shuivasa, and if it does prove accurate that Houston just isn't the place for Derek Lewis to fight, then perhaps it is a good evening for Tai Tuivasa. But ultimately, I'm gonna roll with Derek Lewis. I don't love the minus 180, but the thing that worries me about Tuivasa is in that fight against Greg Hardy. Yes, he got the KO finish. Yes, it was within a minute, but Greg Hardy did manage to sort of crack Tuivasa early in that contest, and if Derek Lewis is able to hit him with a similar meat bomb, I don't think that Tuivasa is going to be able to just bite down on the mouthpiece and be able to respond with similar heat, because we've seen Derek Lewis just possess a sort of different otherworldly power that even the heaviest of heavyweights cannot deal with, and I tend to think that Tai Tuivasa is going to be no different. So I'm going to roll with Derek Lewis. I think he's going to get a KO finish, but if you're spot on that this does hit the mat, that'd be fun to watch as well, because all we know about Shuivasa's ground game is that he was submitted by the polar bear. So it'll be interesting if Derek Lewis can do the same thing. But Lewis by KO is what I'm feeling. So any last thoughts on this one?
No, banger of a fight, super pumped. Can't wait to see. Throw in the comments, boys, who you guys got, Bam Bam and the Nelk boys or the Black Beast.